Our practice today, we'll just start seated. It's always nice to start seated. Let's bring the palms together, thumbs to the heart center. We'll just take a few deep breaths here as we come to ourselves. And we'll start our practice with the sacred sound of Om. Let's say 3 times together. First time, breath in through the nose. Let's come into that feeling of bowing to each other and bowing to that divinity within ourselves. Thumbs to the forehead, thumbs to the heart center, and then lowering. And we'll come up. And today, let's just focus on connecting and even revering, coming to a real felt sense of reverence to that source that connects all of us. We'll have hand now to chest, hand to belly, and connecting with that source through the breath. We'll start to breathe 4 seconds inhalation, holding 4 seconds, 4-second exhalation, and then holding 4 seconds. First, empty the lungs completely, maybe out through the mouth. And then we'll begin inhaling. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. And now just go as you can, 4 seconds generally. Go for a few more cycles. And the next time you exhale, you can just begin to breathe. Probably you're going to take a deeper or longer inhalation and a longer exhalation as you come back to less forced breath, but still controlled breath. And we'll release the hands at this time and shift into Ujjayi Pranayama, taking a breath in through the nose. Opening the mouth, fogging out. Mouth stays open, fog in. Close the mouth, exhale through the nostrils. And maintaining rhythm in the breath now. So we're going to start to move. Let's come to hands and knees into table posture. And once you have wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, we're going to take the hips side to side. So we'll be sending some weight over to the left knee, taking left hip to the left, and then turning the head to the left and pausing here. So we're creating C shapes with the spine to start. We'll pause, another breath. Yep, so head and hips to the left, and then we'll come to center, and then hips and head to the right. Pausing here. Now we'll go with the breath. So inhaling, come to center. Exhale, head and hips to the left. Inhaling center. Exhaling to the right. And we'll go at your pace. Just a couple more in this direction, and then we're going to turn these into S's. So the next time you come to center, you'll take the hips to one side, maybe to the left, and then you're going to turn the head to the right. So hips to the left, head to the right. I find this to feel less natural to me. Others find it more natural. And then we'll come to center, and hips to the right, head to the left. Coming center, and then moving at your pace. Maybe once more to the right, and then we're going to meet in the middle again. And now from here we're going to be taking circles. So you might find at some point that you want to separate the knees, but let's see how they are now, and then you'll adjust. So now we'll start to send the hips over to the right as you lower the hips down, coming into what it feels like a child's posture for a moment, and then we'll take the hips to the left and all the way back into center. And so we're going to continue like this, moving hips to the right, center, over to the left, and then back to table. And as you're going through this, see if you can create more, let's say, complementary action to what's going on. So you might bend the elbows a little bit. You might sink into shoulders. You might lift shoulder, depending on which side. You might come into like a cat feeling posture when you're back in your table. So just explore and see if you can isolate movement as much as you can through all the muscle groups. Involve the head and the neck at some point. At some point, once you're in some center, then go ahead and start to change directions. And a couple more circles. And then we'll meet in table posture, hands and knees. Now right from here, we're going to go into thread the needle. So once we've found our center, we'll pick up the right arm and we'll move this hand in circles. Now rise up to the left fingertips. So we're going to get off the wrist and get some extension in the wrist instead of flexion. So left fingertips on the mat, right hand moving in circles. And then we'll thread, so we can come back to the left palm and weave this right arm underneath, right through the left, come down to the right side of the face. We're going to extend the left arm forward and keep the left forearm lifted off the mat. So we feel different areas in the left shoulder stretching in comparison to the right. And feel the left armpit open up, the back of the right shoulder open up. Two more breaths. And we'll bring the left palm back in. So we can press into the left palm. Inhale, lift the right arm upwards. And then let's circle the right arm, but you can circle this right arm and also get that right leg to extend back, and it gives you a little bit more space. So we come into a modified side plank. You can just let the right foot rest and focus on this right arm itself. Left arm doing some strengthening here, but mostly focused on the right. Okay, then just let this arm kind of dangle loose for a moment. So maybe like giving it a little bit of motion as it just sways back and forth, low towards the mat like a pendulum. Just kind of just letting it hang and swing. A couple more breaths. And then we'll let the right hand come down, bring the right knee down. Next inhale, lift the left arm upwards. We're moving through this left wrist, especially if we feel tightness in the chest from using our arms so much. We want to be here. We want to separate the arms. Rise to those right fingertips. And then right palm comes down, thread the left arm through, come all the way down, left side of the face. Once you've settled, set that right hand forward, keeping the right forearm lifted. Aware of what's happening in the body. We'll take another full breath. And then we'll bring the right hand in, press into the right hand, lift the left arm. So here we're going to take those circles with the left arm and then maybe send the left foot to the back of the mat. Just open up a little bit here as we circle the left arm. And then we're going to just release this left arm down towards the mat, but we're going to let it swing a little bit left to right like a pendulum again. And this feels so good, I don't want to stop. Take another deep breath. And then we'll release the left hand. Okay, let's get off of the hands for a moment. So we're going to rest in child's posture, bring the knees apart, big toes touch, and then lower the hips down, lower the hands, or lower the chest. But if you'd like, before you go there, check in with the wrists. So I can sense my wrist needed a little attention, so I'm just going to flex and extend a little bit and kind of flip the hands upwards and around. And I think we'll get some wrist and forearm stretches in today too. Probably needed now that we're going to be spending lots more time on computers again. Okay, so now we're going to lower down and focus on the consistent rhythmic breath that you're creating through the concepts that we employ here, through the ideas, the importance of consistent breath, the idea of being able to control that breath, to control the way prana enters and exits, to have some say over how we will let the mind be in a calmer state with a calmer breath. When you're not moving, you'll probably be able to get much more than 5 or 6 seconds for your inhalation, and the same for your exhalation. So this is a good time to maybe focus on really getting the length there, maybe getting yourself closer to 10 seconds for both inhalation and exhalation. So 20 seconds for a whole breath. Three more of these breaths. And we're going to start to move again. So whenever you've taken that last exhalation there, we'll inhale, lift the head, start to rise up to hands. Bring knees back so they're under the hips. Let's come into downward facing dog for some breaths. So just making sure to step hands forward a step and then roll over the toes, lift the knees, and allow for some motion here. You might pedal the heels. You might lift a leg, you might sway the hips or shake the head out. 5 deep breaths. At some point when you're here, see if you can really pull the belly up into the spine. And you're going to feel, as you pull the belly up, you'll feel the organs in the abdomen. It'll be more apparent there. You'll let the tailbone shift upwards. And then we're going to look forward and step the feet forward to the top of the mat. Step walk, maybe jump. Today would be a really nice day for sun salutations, I feel, so I'd like to move through those today. We'll let the big toes touch the heels apart. And that's a little difficult for balance. You can bring the feet hips distance. And let's come up halfway first, lengthening the spine, letting the trunk be parallel to the floor. You can take the arms behind or out to the sides. So to counteract all of the computer usage, things like that, we'll work on strengthening that area. So arms out or behind, I feel arms out are going to help me a little bit more. And then we'll exhale, lower down, and let's inhale halfway up again. And back of the legs might be tight, so you might keep the legs bent for now. Eventually, we want to try to straighten the legs while we're here. Now we'll just exhale, lower, and a few times at your pace, inhaling halfway and exhaling, lowering, continuing like this. Now, when you come up halfway, see if you can keep the belly pulled up and active, and then exhale, release. Stretching. And then activating, and now we'll go ahead and lower one more time. We'll come up halfway, and then with that back nice and straight, we'll start to rise all the way up to standing. Once you're here, take the arms up, stretching up, pull the pelvis in, engage the thighs, stretch the heart upwards, and then we'll come to neutral spine, palms together, thumbs in towards the heart center. Let's release the arms alongside the body, roll the shoulders a little bit, maybe move the head, loosening up. It's easy to get like a little over tight sometimes when we're moving through these postures because we have to activate so much, right? So just loosen up, and then we'll start sun salutation. We'll go with letter A to start. So big toes touch, thighs engage, pelvis in. Inhale, reach the arms upwards, looking up again, and then exhale, arms come out to the sides as you fold halfway and then come all the way down to Uttanasana, forward fold. Look past the knees. Inhale, come up halfway, we'll take the arms out again, look forward. Exhale, bring the hands down, step the feet back, and then either you're going to keep feet to the mat or you're going to bring knees down to the mat. So I'm going to go to knees. And then on the next exhale, elbows stay over the wrists as you bend the elbows and lower the chest down. Tops of feet come to the mat. Press into the palms for cobra with hips down, or a little bit more strength, upward facing dog with hips up. And then from there, we'll come into downward facing dog. You can always have the knees down, and then you just send hips back, roll over the toes, lift the hips. We'll take about 4 deep breaths here. As you're here, see if you can feel the engagement of the back. And if not, give a little bit more effort there. We're going to look forward, bend the knees, float the feet forward. And we're going to continue. So inhale, come up halfway, lengthen, arms out to the sides today. Exhale, lower. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, samastitihi, palms together, thumbs in towards the heart center. Next inhale, reach the arms up. Engaging thighs, pelvis. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway, arms out. Exhale, hands down, float back, and then lower. All in the same exhalation, or you can go at a different pace if that works for you. Inhale, come to back bend, and then exhale, downward facing dog, where we'll take 4 deep breaths, maybe 5. You can always go to child's posture if you find that would be better if you're losing the breath especially. Child's posture is a good place to go. And then when you're ready, you're going to cycle through this a few times. We'll move through independently, but together. So beginning whenever you're ready. Remembering when you're in downward facing dog, you're going to take some full breaths there for resting, and then you'll begin again. We'll be going through one more cycle, and then after that we'll meet in a forward fold. So finish the cycle you're on, go through one more. And actually what we'll do is once you finish the cycle, we'll meet standing in Samastitihi. So with palms together, thumbs in towards the heart center. Okay, so from here, let's step the feet hips distance apart. And we're going to come into Pada Angushtasana. So let's have hands come to hips. And then we'll inhale. So once you have hands to hips, we'll engage thighs and pelvis, pulling in again. Lift the heart, look upwards. So a nice little back bend. And then exhale, fold forward. Grasp the big toes with the peace fingers. Even if you have to bend the knees to get there or separate the feet a little bit more. Inhale, come up halfway by just lifting the chest and the heart, and the head, keeping fingers where they are. And then exhale, release the trunk and lower the head all the way, gazing past the knees. And then as you're here, you can exaggerate what's occurring
that when you inhale, the trunk is going to expand and lift a little, and as you exhale, it's going to lower. You can encourage that by actually straightening the arms and maybe even lifting the head on the inhalation, and on the exhalation, totally releasing, bending the elbows, letting the head go. So we'll be here, let's say a whole minute, exploring this. At some point, you'll see that the trunk can get lower and lower. So this is our minute. Notice how this posture has changed. Maybe it's hardly noticeable, but it has changed nonetheless. Let's come up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands to hips. Start to rise all the way up to standing. A soft bend in the knees helps in this position to rise with that back nice and flat. And once we've risen, let's go into a sun salutation B before we continue to stretch a little bit more. So we're going to prepare the muscles to be ready for those stretches. So we'll have big toes together, heels apart again, palms together. Starting with Utkatasana, bend the knees and press them into each other as you lower the hips. Pull the pelvis in here, and then release the arms down. Inhale. So you release them down, take them back, and then take them upwards. So we're really utilizing the lats again. And then we'll exhale. Take 2 more breaths after that. Okay, next exhalation, you can straighten the legs, fold forward over the legs. As we did before, come up halfway, arms out to the sides. Exhale, lower down, hands to the mat, step back, and then lower again. Another vinyasa here. Inhaling, back bend. Exhaling, downward facing dog, where we'll take the right leg up towards the sky. And feeling the legs separate. Next exhalation, step the right foot between the hands. We'll come into warrior A. Pivot the left heel down and rise up. We'll stay here for a couple deep breaths. So once you have arms up, sink into the right knee. Pull the pelvis in. Stretch the rest of the trunk upwards. And then exhale, bring the hands down around the foot, lift the right foot, step it back, another vinyasa. You can always skip them, of course. Once you're in downward facing dog, inhale, lift the left leg up. We're here for a breath. Next exhalation, left foot between the hands. Right heel presses down, rise up. Left knee lunging deeply. Arms reaching up, trunk lifting up. It's like the trunk lifting up out of the pelvis, out of the hips. 2 more breaths. On the next exhalation, bring the hands down, lift the left foot, step it back, lower. Inhaling, back bend. Exhaling, downward facing dog, about 4 breaths. Nice clearing breath in through nose and out through mouth. And then we'll look forward and float the feet forward. Big toes are touching, heels apart. Inhale, come up halfway, arms out to the sides. Exhale, lower. Bend the knees. Inhale, lift the trunk and the arms, circling them up. And then we'll straighten the legs, bring the palms together, thumbs in towards the heart center. So now we'll move into Padahastasana. So we'll have hands to hips again, feet hips distance apart. Pull the pelvis in, engage the thighs. Inhale, stretch the heart upwards, little back bend. And then we'll exhale, fold forward, and we'll stand on the hands. Pada is foot, hasta is hand. Padahastasana. Standing right on top of them. And now we'll get a little bit of a sensation in the wrists. You can bend the knees if needed. Takes me time before I can straighten my legs here. But little by little, see if you can. Get them a little straighter. And your toes are all the way to the wrists. So you're going to feel the stretch all the way to the lats. All around the shoulder blades, which you feel pulling upwards or downwards, really. Let's give this 5 more breaths. And we'll inhale, lift the head, release the hands, bringing hands to hips. Start to come all the way up to standing. You're going to use the glutes with those knees bent. You'll use the glutes to help the trunk rise upwards. We'll bring the big toes together and then the palms back together. Roll the shoulders back and down, maybe a few times. And then we'll just stand here for a moment. Thumbs to heart center, big toes touching. Closing the eyes and just feeling the way the weight is distributed between the 2 feet. Maybe noticing that it's shifting. Noticing heart beating in the chest a little bit more than it was before. About 4 more breaths, focusing as you're in this resting position, focusing on lengthening the breath again. Now we're going to be moving into a balancing posture. But before we go there, I'd like to take some chin tucks to help, again, counteract our time on computers and strengthen the back of the neck so that the chin isn't jutting forward through our day and putting extra pressure on the spine. So while the hands are right here, just go ahead and send the chin forward as if you're trying to hover the chin over the fingertips, and then pull the chin in towards the neck. Feel the neck straighten up. Again, taking chin forward towards on top of the fingertips, and then pulling chin in. So we're going to do this for, let's say, about 30 seconds. So keep going. So one of the most important things you can do for the neck if you can fit this in every single day, you'll help counteract all the other things that are going on with the head. More like the position of the head. Okay, so we'll pull in
And then we'll feel that length. And then just gently relax, but keep the chin from going forward. Let's find a balancing posture. So if you'd like to be close to the wall, you can. We're actually going to turn this into 2 balancing postures. We're going to include a little bit of a twist. So a chair or wall or anything like that, just in case. I'm going to be close just in case. And so we'll start with hands to hips, feet hips distance apart. And if you're going to use a wall, the right side, do I want the right side there? No, we'll have the left. Yeah, we'll have the left side of the body towards the wall if you're going to use it. Otherwise, pick up the right knee. We'll have hands to hips. Pick up the right knee and hold that right knee with the right hand. So we're actually going to turn this into something else in a moment. But go ahead and see, maybe now you can lift the left arm upwards. And if you're here, spread the right toes and stay connected with foot to the floor. And just take 3 more deep breaths. Now we have this right leg in front. We're going to take it in the other direction now. So you might have to set the foot down first, or you might be able to just take this foot right behind the bottom and hold the foot with the hand, keeping the left arm risen. That right shoulder, circle it back and down. Take 4 more breaths. Keep sending the right knee downwards. Keep pulling the pelvis in. Maybe straighten up the left arm. And then let's release. Let go. Take the weight to the left leg so you can shake out the right leg. And maybe shake out the left leg too. Just that standing. Sometimes we lock up, we get all stiff. So we're going to undo that. And then we'll go to the other side. So we'll start with hands to hips. Feet hips distance apart. Lift the left knee. Left hand touches the left knee. Make sure the right glute is engaged here, the right thigh is engaged, so that you can stand here firmly. And if you feel balanced, you might take the right arm upwards. And say 1 more breath. Now we'll start to change position of the left leg and hold the left foot behind the bottom. Left knee now facing down. Pelvis pulling in. If you pull that pelvis in, it'll create stability in the center of the body, and it'll also increase the stretch in the left psoas muscle, the hip flexor, where the leg hinges. Take that left shoulder back. 3 more breaths. And we'll go ahead and release. Okay, maybe shake out the left leg and the right. Okay, so before we come to seated, I'd like to come back to the mat and separate the feet apart so that we're facing maybe the left side of the mat. Doesn't really matter which. Then we'll take the arms upwards and find eagle arms. So cross one elbow in front of the other. Just take note which one is in front. See if you can wrap the forearms around each other. Maybe the palms can meet, and if not, tops of the hands maybe might be able to meet. And if you're just here, this is good. You know, you're going to just feel a stretch in the back of the shoulders, which we kind of started with today. Send the elbows forward and upwards if you can. Notice the stretch increasing. Bend the knees and begin to lower the trunk downward. So we're going to fold. We have legs separated. You can separate them even more. And then we'll lower and fold here as we keep the arms intertwined. Eventually let the head go. And keep striving to take the elbows and the hands away from the trunk, away from the head. But still keeping them around each other. You might be able to turn the toes inward a little bit here and let the feet stretch. 2 more breaths. Let the head go completely. See it hanging loose. And with the knees bent, unroll the spine so that the head rises last. Once the head rises, unravel the arms. Take the arms upwards and then cross opposite elbow in front. Wrap the arms around each other. Send the elbows forward and upward. Okay, so really trying to take those hands away from the head. And then bend the knees again and start to lower the trunk, lower the hands, lower the head. Keep sending elbows forward and away or downward and away. Eventually let that head go. Maybe legs can straighten up. Take 3 deep breaths. The breaths should be so deep that you feel it in the upper back where we're stretching. You really feel that area press out as you breathe in, and you feel the release as you breathe out. We were upside down quite a bit today, so really increasing blood flow to the brain. Let us think more clearly. Nourishing the eyes. Now we'll start to rise. So bend the knees and unroll the spine. Once you've risen, unwind the arms, take them all the way up. And then we'll take hands behind the tailbone, interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulders back as you straighten the arms. Look up, open the chest. And exhale, fold forward. Might shake the head out. And release the arms down. Let them hang loose here for a moment. So from here, we're going to plant the palms, inhale halfway up, and we're going to come to seated from here. So you can heel toe the feet a little closer together, and then just come all the way down to knees, and then change over to your bottom, coming to seated. So once in seated, I think we're going to focus on the hands so that I don't forget. We're going to take the right hand and create a fist, and then drop the fist down. So you're going to be flexing the wrist. Hold with your left hand the right fist. And then you see the fingers, the left fingers are right on top of this fist. And if you have any like specific arthritis or carpal tunnel, just be gentle, but this is supposed to be good for that scenario. Then you'll push the hand, the right hand, into the fingers on the inhale, and then release on the exhale. And then push in and release. Push in and release. And make sure this right arm is straight. This is not going to be effective if the right arm is bent. And so after we've done a little bit of resistance here, we'll just hold the wrist like this and maybe even pull it a little closer and take a few breaths. So This is a very intense stretch, so again, take it easy as much as you can. And then release. Okay, so let's go back there. So I see that we lost the connection for a second maybe. So if you didn't get to it, we've got fists. So just the right fist, then straighten the right arm and shift the fist down. Hold the right fist with the left hand. Now you have left fingers on top of the fist, right, on top of the hand. Push the fist and fingers into each other on the inhale, and then release on the exhale. Just that resistance you're releasing. Then you'll do this a couple more times, right? So again, just be careful if you have any carpal tunnel or arthritis. It's supposed to be good for it, but you also want to honor where you're at. So then we're just going to hold it and take a few deep breaths here as we're really stretching this wrist and forearm, keeping the elbow. So if people with tennis elbow, things like that, this is supposed to help. Then we'll release and slowly, slowly come out of it and just move the wrist back and forth. And wow, because I did that really long, it actually feels amazing. So now the other side has to be just as long. So you're going to do what feels right for you. So do both hands and just see, you know, does one feel different than the other? And hopefully you feel that. So now we'll take the other hand, left fist, straight left arm. Drop the left fist down. Hold the left fist with hands, fingertips on top of that hand. Push top of the hand to fingertips a few times on the inhalation. Keeping left arm straight. Okay, so I'm going to be here for sure a little bit longer. Do you want to see how it feels to you? And then once you're ready to just continue to hold it and breathe through as you stretch without resisting. Just continue. And we're really helping this fist stay closed with the right hand as well. Yep, and once you're set, you can come out of it and move around. Our wrists are so important to take care of them. And try to do things like this every single day, multiple times a day. So once you're done with the hands, we'll shake them out. And we'll look to the neck for a moment. We did some good things with the neck today. So let's just have hands towards the thighs. You can have hands resting into each other or palms flipped up. And just circle the shoulders a little bit. And then we're going to take shoulders up, back, and down. And tilt the head to one side, focusing on essentially lifting. So we'll start lifting the right ear up towards the sky so we can focus on lengthening the right side of the neck. Keeping the shoulders down. We'll bring the head to center and lift the other ear upwards towards the sky. We want to prevent any stiffness in the neck and alleviate any stiffness already existing. And we'll bring the head to center. And just move the head a little bit left, right, like tilting, left, right, left, right. And then we'll bring the head to center and turn the head to the left, turn the head to the right. A couple more, just turning side to side. I think it would be nice to take a twist. So let's come back to center and feeling hopefully looser in the neck. Let's take the left foot and plant it and keep the right foot underneath the left thigh. And we're going to twist to one side and then the other. So let's take left hand behind, fingers face back. Right hand can hold the left leg, or you can send, for a deeper twist, the right arm to the outside of the left leg. Before you twist, lengthen the spine and then turn to the left. Dropping the shoulders. And we'll inhale, come to center. Switch legs. Right hand behind. Find a right position for that left arm. First, stretch the spine up and then twist. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. And we'll inhale, come to center. And now let's come all the way down to the back. And once you're there, bring the knees into the chest, rock a little side to side. And see if there's something else you'd like to do before you come into Shavasana and rest. You know, maybe happy baby would feel good, or simple spinal twist, or maybe a little bit of both. And then whenever you're ready to rest, releasing feet, releasing hands, releasing the face. Releasing the head. Releasing shoulders. And releasing the trunk, the belly, the back, the hips. Releasing the legs and the arms, the fingers and the toes. Softening the temples, softening the ears. Resting. Before you change anything, bring your attention to the chest, to the heart center, and sense there a light, maybe a golden light, golden liquid light, and use the concentration of your mind to first imagine that golden liquid light, and then second to move that golden liquid light all through the body, so letting it spread in all directions until it fills up down through the legs into the toes, soles of the feet, all through the trunk and the back, the chest, out through the arms into the fingertips and the palms of the hands, and up through the neck and all into the head, the ears and the crown of the head. And let this remain with you while you breathe more deeply now and come back to the sensations that result from the breath, to the movement of the fingers and the toes. Might circle the arms behind, finding length. And then bringing knees into the chest. Sounds like my kids are awake. Roll to the side, give yourself a moment. And then come all the way up to seated to seal your practice today. Sitting up tall, palms together, thumbs to the heart center. We'll seal our practice. Again, the sound of Om, one long Om. Big breath in. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today and really sharing this sacred time. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste.